I stood up and grabbed my bottle. Walking toward my door, I glanced to my left and froze. There he was, crouching behind my door, peeking through the space between the nightstand and the door. This time he had a face, fully defined. Are you ready for this?
Hello and welcome to Sincerely Supernatural, the show where we talk about the strange, mysterious, and unexplained. I am your host, Hudson.
I'm your other host, Seth.
And today we are going to be reading some stories.
Yes.
But not like regular stories that we read.
I've been waiting for this episode for a really long time because these are listener and watcher submitted stories. So these come from you guys, from the community that you sent in, and I've always wanted to do this, and I'm super excited about it.
It's very exciting.
So we're going to read through them, and then we'll talk about it. You haven't heard most of these.
Have I heard some of them?
No, like you've read over the one that you're going to read, but you haven't seen these.
I didn't really read the one I have.
Oh,
so it's going to be a first.
You don't know any of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have about 37 of them, so it's going to take a while.
Oh, if only.
That was a joke.
No, we have a couple.
We got a couple.
And they're really good. Before we get into that, I would encourage you to take a millisecond to like and subscribe to this channel. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you want to head over there. Rate and review. It helps us out a ton. Now, let's get into our listener submitted stories. We're reading the mail. I have here a letter from Ryan from Florida.
Ryan from Florida.
Yes. And Ryan says, "Hello, Sincerely Supernatural gang. Been loving the episodes and listening on Spotify. I wanted to share a couple of stories of mine with you that are truly bizarre. My name is Ryan, and I'm 28 years old from Central Florida. I'll start off with a small one and get to the other handful of creepy things. I have 5 stories to share with you.
Okay.
Story number 1, the small dog. So this one was when I was younger, and I lived in a place called Glen Rock, Pennsylvania. We lived in a 2-story house. I remember late one night I was laying in bed, and I was about 10 or 11 years old at the time. It was late one night, and I was in bed, and the hallway light was on, and the door to my room was wide open. I was laying there trying to fall asleep when I got this weird feeling that I should open my eyes. When I opened my eyes and looked out my door into the hallway, I saw a small white dog. Mind you, we did not own dogs or pets at the time at all. I looked at this dog, and then it rushed at me, and I flung my hand up to react with my covers, and I felt the dog hit my hand. And then boom, I lowered my arm, and the dog was gone instantly, like it disappeared.
That's weird.
A ghost dog.
Was it like a little dog? Like, I mean, I know you don't know.
Yeah,
but was it like a puppy, or was it like, it looked like an adult dog, but it was just small?
It might have been just it says a small little white dog. So I've never seen a ghost pet, but I know other people have, like heard their collars rattling and stuff after they've passed away. What do you think about ghost animals?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Do you think animals go to heaven? All dogs go to heaven?
I don't know. This is one of the things where it's like, I honestly have no idea if they could or they couldn't.
Well, you know our dog, Izzy.
Yes.
That died several years ago.
She is in heaven.
She was the best dog on planet Earth.
Mhm.
Like, I love that dog.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to be there. She's got to be. I love that dog.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's any like biblical evidence.
Any basis on
If
it?
every animal ever went to heaven,
That'd be a lot of animals.
but at the same time, is heaven really restricted by space?
No, I don't
Probably
think so.
not.
It's
I
like,
have no idea.
sorry, heaven's full.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, even if ghost dogs aren't real
Mm-hmm.
or animals don't have an afterlife, I think something could mimic an animal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I guess it comes down to, what are ghosts?
Mm-hmm.
We obviously have the demonic entity theory. I feel like that makes up a large portion of ghost encounters. And then we've talked about before, like I can't remember, what do you call it? Like the
stone tape theory?
the stone tape theory, where
Mhm.
it's,
Just replaying.
in my mind, I kind of have two possibilities: demons or people that have actually died,
Mhm.
whether that's the stone tape theory or they're stuck in limbo.
Right.
I think ghosts could either be demons or real people
Sure.
that have died. So when talking about a dog, you're like, yeah, absolutely. I think a demon could impersonate a dog.
Yeah.
Or if humans can die and become ghosts through whatever way,
Mhm.
can the same happen with animals?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever it was, it had mass because when he put his arm up, he felt it hit it.
That's creepy.
But I mean,
Yeah.
even in my own experiences with like stuff sitting on my bed,
Mm-hmm.
it was moving material in this dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that
Sorry.
was story number 1. Now here's story number 2 from Ryan. Ryan from Florida. Fast forward a couple of years, and my family and I went on a visit to Gettysburg, the famous Civil War town, literally within an hour's drive from where I lived in Pennsylvania. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah.
We get there, all is cool. The town and battlefields are awesome. We visit and read signs the whole 9 yards. Good times. Come the end of the day, evening, around 8 to 9 p.m.-ish, we decided to have a late tour. So we're turning around via candlelight, and my parents smoked, so we lagged behind, and I remember I was sitting on a brick wall, and straight ahead of me was a large field with a tree in it, barely lit by the small amount of light that there was left. It was pretty dark, but I could see the tree and the field a little. Anyway, so we're all sitting there, and the group is a ways ahead, and we plan on catching up. All of a sudden, and I verified this with my parents too, we all got the urge to look out into the field by the tree, and we all did in unison. Now, the only way I can describe what I saw was what looked like if you took 10 cameras with flashes on them and taped them all together and then lit them all off at the same time. And this happened by the tree. It was a bright little twinkle white flash and then a boom like a thunder boom. Needless to say, we were confused, so we catch back up to the group and we asked the guide, hey, are there any reenactments going on out in that field right now? The guide replied, nope. Being out there after hours is a no-no. I recently wanted to see if I could find the area I was in on Google Maps, and I did, but the crazy part is that area where the flash was part of a north side battery of cannons that fired upon the Confederate advance on one of the days of the battle. I fully believe we saw something residual from the war that night.
That's crazy.
Now this makes me want to believe in stone tape theory.
Yeah.
There are so many ghost stories like this from Gettysburg.
They're just like battlefields in general.
Yeah, because there was so much death and emotion and energy poured out in those places. I don't know how it works, but I feel like you could hear cannons and gunshots. People hear gunshots and yelling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
They said it was at night, right?
Yeah, like 8 or 9
they had
p.m.
candle. They're using candles.
Yeah.
So they saw
A boom. Big flash.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, I don't really know what else it could be.
Have you ever wanted to go to Gettysburg?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. That is very far away from where we live. So never been there, but I'm jealous, Ryan. Okay, do you want to hear story number 3?
Let's go for it.
Ooh, you know what this one's called?
What?
The Skinwalker Shadow Person.
Nope.
You're done.
I'm done.
Okay, Ryan. This one is quick but very strange. My mom and I were making a late night ice run. We'd just drive down the road a bit to an ice machine and get a bag of ice. And this takes place in Central Florida. Hence, them wanting ice.
Mm-hmm.
We were making our way to the machine. We got the ice and got back in the car to head home. It was late at night. As we were driving home, I was looking at the road ahead and my mom was driving. I'm looking ahead and she glances down for a second at something, but what I saw really confused me. So on a road, you have the painted reflective lines, right? I saw from right to left a dismembered pair of shadow legs from the waist down pass in front of the car, and it blocked out the lines on the road as it passed across.
Like it walked?
In a couple of steps. It literally looked like a shadow. It was slightly translucent, but blocked out those lines. Once it crossed in about 3 to 4 seconds, I told my mom to stop and asked her if she saw that. Saw what, she said. I explained what I saw and told her to back up and point the lights onto the other side of the road. And when they did, they see an opossum trotting in someone's yard. I believe that was some sort of shadow person skinwalker, and it turned into that opossum.
So they saw like legs just walk across, like no upper half?
Now that I have heard of before.
Really?
People seeing certain, like not a full person, but body parts of a person, like their legs or their upper torso, and the rest is invisible. I have heard of that before.
That is strange.
But there's a big difference between seeing a pair of legs and seeing an opossum in someone's yard. So did it transform? I don't know.
Could have. I don't know.
Could have.
It could have been a coincidence where there just happened to be a possum there.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to say it's a skinwalker, I needed to see the man turn into the animal. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Still spooky.
It's a good
Seeing
story.
legs go across the road at night.
Yeah.
No, thank you. All right. Ryan's fourth
story.
Fourth story.
These have been good.
This one is weird too.
Okay.
I was staying at a buddy's house after his bachelor party with another friend of mine. We decided to sleep on the couches in the living room. I remember going to sleep, and while everything was all right, but I woke up at some point in the middle of the night, and my eyes shot wide open, and I got this really uneasy feeling, like I don't want to move. I can slightly hear my other friend on the other couch sleeping. Something tells me to look up in the corner of the room. No. Something tells me to look up in the corner of the room, probably about 15 feet away. So I see this, what I can only describe is if you take a pencil and you just start scribbling in circles on a piece of paper until it's a bunch of dark squiggly circles on the page. And it was gyrating and morphing in the corner of the room in a very weird and not natural looking way. It almost had a smoke-like quality to it too. I decided in that moment to say, nope, not dealing with that. Told it to go away in the name of Jesus and shut my eyes right back to sleep. That's weird.
Wow. The
squiggle portal.
I don't even know what that is. Like a portal?
Yeah.
Or some entity?
Well, I'll let this out of the bag. My dad, your grandpa, was helping my next to oldest brother move. He lives over in Oregon. And the house that they lived in was pretty weird. But one night he was in that room and woke up like this, like something's wrong. And there was something dark down in the corner of the room at the foot of the bed.
Yeah.
And he closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, it was up in the corner of the room up there.
On the ceiling. Ugh.
And I'm like, and you stayed in that room? I would have been gone. I'd have been out.
Yeah.
Freaky.
That is weird.
Are portals real?
Oh,
Are they?
Yeah.
For like moving in between dimensions?
I don't know.
You think? I mean, I've never looked into like quantum theory.
It's either a portal or some sort of ghost demon thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's
a good one.
I haven't ever heard of that type of portal. I've heard of like David Paulides talks about some people that have had interactions with portals.
Mm-hmm.
Spooky stuff.
Yeah.
All right. This is the fifth and final story from Ryan.
Final. Okay, I'm ready.
He says this is the one that's most important to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Final Goodbye. So Thanksgiving 2017, my mom is cooking this beautiful Thanksgiving dinner, like she's always done. And I'm adjacent in a side room, laying in a bed, playing with my phone, passing time, waiting for dinner to be done. My mom is doing all right, not doing the best, but she's okay trying to get it done. I'm sitting there just glancing off into space, picked up my phone, tinkering around on it, and just chilling. All of a sudden, the door comes open, and I look over, and it's my Nana. She leans around the corner, and she says, "Hey, Ryan, the food is almost done. Just wanted to come tell you. I love you." "All right, Nana, I love you too. Thank you for telling me." And the door closes. It then takes me about 4 seconds for my brain to fire off a massive amount of confusion. My Nana had been dead for a year. I could not believe it. About 10 seconds later, I'm sitting there shocked, and the door comes open, and my mom leans around the corner in the exact same way and says, "Hey, Ryan, the food is almost done." I stared shocked at my mom and shot off the bed and was like, "Mom, you're not going to believe me, but I just saw Nana clear as day." I explained it and showed her exactly what I saw, and she told me that she had been in a funk that day and felt really down. And so she prayed that her mom would help her get through cooking Thanksgiving because she would always help her out every year. So I believe she paid me one last visit to tell me fully goodbye or let me know that she's around and to help my mom one last time. Still, the most trippy thing that's ever happened to me, and I still cannot believe it to this day. I cannot describe how crystal clear she was there, and I heard her clear as day speak to me. It was absolutely wild. Thank you for reading this. I love your guys' content. Like I said, I wanted to share some of the weird stories that I've had. Thanks for your time, Ryan. Ryan, thank you. These are
Ryan.
crazy.
Those were very fun to read.
What do you think of that last one?
That's good. I take back what I said earlier. I think there's 3 ghost explanations. I think that people who are in the afterlife can maybe sometimes come back and say goodbye or, say hi. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
It's crazy that his mom had prayed.
Yeah.
She prayed, right, and said that she
was in a funk all day
because
she used to make dinner with her mom and prayed that she would just be there with her.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Ryan. That was really cool.
That was awesome.
Needless to say, I think that can happen.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. Do you want to...
Should I read a story?
Read a story from someone else?
Yeah.
What do you got? Who is it?
We have a story today from Ethan. I don't know where he's from. I don't know if he says where he's from, but we'll find out.
I think Ethan's from Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning. My name's Ethan. I do TikTok and have 100K followers with nothing about paranormal. All skits and comedy. This is a very, very true story. So I live on the woods, right? And every night these raccoons come to get the garbage and slam the lids when they are finished. My room is right above the location of the trash, so I hear everything and I'm a very light sleeper. Every night I go out with a flashlight and clean up before my dad wakes up. So it's around 3:45-ish and I hear a noise. I assume it's the raccoons, but when I'm outside, I hear no noise. Confused, I was looking around till I landed on a pair of eyes, but a darker yellow, not as round. Thinking it was a deer, I shrugged it off. It was tall, about the same size as a deer. Then whatever it was, a bear or something, stood on its hind legs and stared me down. The thing is, we don't have any bears here. I also have to describe the creature. It was very tall. Didn't see any antlers on it. I thought it was a deer. Then it stood up as if trying to crawl towards me without being seen. Some sort of humanoid looking thing. It was gray, and as soon as I start recording, my phone dies and my flashlight turns off.
No.
That's horrible timing. It was almost at a full charge since I woke up to the noise and thinking it was just a raccoon. Then the lights in the backyard also started acting weird, but didn't shut off. It gave me enough light to see the outline of whatever it was. The body was kind of gray, maybe brown, had a weird fluorescent body, like a chrome texture.
What?
It was very tall. I'm like 5'9", and this thing was double me. I'd say almost 7 to 8 feet. Like, I wasn't stunned, but in shock, looking at it eye to eye. We are like not even 20 feet apart. Didn't see any eyes or facial expressions. So I'm guessing it's dark, if it has any, but it's very skinny as well. At first, I thought it was some sort of creature related to a deer. But I might sound crazy, but I think it's a gray alien. I've heard stories when I moved here that they come for the water since we have the woods. Plus, the farmer next to us reported chickens being eaten, and every time he checks his cameras, before they get eaten, they have a glitch effect and shut off. Then turn back on, and you can see the chickens unalive. Sometimes, burn marks like black holes, which I have no idea what those could be, strange lights in the woods, and weird dreams. I don't know what the frick is going on, but I just sent you some videos of me being woken up by this raccoon, and this is my second incident, and my phone's at 87%. It shut off, and my flashlight completely glitched out like it had a bad battery. Wish I could make this up. I want to tell my mom this story, but she's going to think I'm insane. I don't drink, don't do drugs, or smoke. I'm completely sober.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Good story, Ethan.
Yeah, thank you, Ethan. That was awesome.
What do you make of that? Did he say that its skin looked chrome?
Let me look.
And it was like
the body
8
was
feet
kind
tall?
of gray, maybe brown, had a weird fluorescent body, like a chrome texture.
Oh, like maybe it was wearing a suit?
So I don't know.
Weird.
7 to 8 feet tall, it looked like.
A chicken-eating gray alien that's 8 feet tall.
And the technology would always glitch out when it's around.
Yeah, that's also a thing in like haunted houses.
Yeah.
Like instant battery drain.
Bigfoot, when people are trying to get photos of like Bigfoot. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, like they're somehow always able to avoid trail cameras and stuff like that. Which I have a theory of why the Patterson-Gimlin footage happened.
I have that same theory as you.
It's completely analog.
It was like a Super 8 kind of camera.
Yeah, you are powering
There
it.
was no electricity.
No
As far
batteries.
as I'm aware.
No, I don't think there was.
And so
it was a crank.
That's kind of my theory why there's not a lot of footage of Bigfoot, because you turn on a camera and they hear it instantly.
Yeah.
Because maybe they can hear a different frequency than we can.
Yeah, but it's really interesting that his phone was fully charged or almost fully charged. And then
I don't even know what that... I mean, it sounds like a gray alien. Like, that's what he described it. But a gray alien that is 8 feet tall, because usually they're short.
Yeah.
And eats your chickens.
And they come for the water? I've heard that too.
Yeah.
The alien, like UFOs, will hover over bodies of water.
It's not like the movie Signs, where water was their weakness.
No, water is not their weakness.
That was good. That was creepy. Thank you, Ethan.
Are you ready for the final story?
I guess so.
This is a creepy story.
Okay.
But I love it. This is from Emmy. A real story, which we're allowed to share. And it's called When the Man Showed Me His Face.
I'm already scared.
Hey, Seth. I'm 18, and all my life I've struggled with seeing visions at night. None of them are ever good. They're all scary or just genuinely horrifying. When I moved out of my old home, the dreams and visions died down greatly. But I'm going to tell you about the week that he revealed his face to me. I would love to hear your thoughts or know if anyone else has seen the same thing. Growing up, I had something like sleep paralysis, though I wasn't sleeping, and I couldn't fully move around. All my life, I would wake up and see a dark silhouette of a man with no face. Sometimes I woke up and he was clinging to the wall beside my bed. Other times, he was lying in bed beside me. Get out.
I hate that.
As I grew up, he scared me less and less. In my freshman year, however, on a Monday evening, things changed. Monday evening was normal. I arrived home from school, got ready for bed, and slid under my covers. I always left my door open. If I didn't, my cat would meow like a maniac to be let in. My closet was at the end of my bed, so I could see the doors fully from where I was lying. I always kept the closet light on and the door cracked. If I didn't, I was often too uneasy to sleep. That night, the man appeared. Dark, with no facial definition, just a body. He stood at the end of my bed, then knelt down, crawled onto my sheets, and began crawling toward me. I felt every press of his hands and knees into the mattress as he shifted the bed. The light from my closet was still on behind him. I screamed and kicked, throwing my pillow at him. When I blinked again, he was gone. Tuesday evening shook me to my core. My hallucinations, or so I thought they were, only happened when I abruptly woke up, which I often did for no apparent reason. Usually I'd see different things. The shadow man was only a periodic vision, never consistently him, but he was the only thing I ever saw repeatedly.
Okay.
The side of my bed sat flush against the wall with a long window stretching from the middle of my mattress to the end of the bed. I sat awake and saw my curtains moving, rustling. This window could open. I rubbed my eyes to make sure I was seeing it right, thinking it was perhaps my cat. Then a black hand stuck out from the curtains, its fingers curling around the fabric and pulling it aside. His leg poked through, then his head and torso. I screamed, threw myself out of bed, and ran down the hall into the living room. My dad sometimes stayed up late playing video games. I was so scared that I collapsed onto the floor in front of his chair, crying and feeling so sick. I screamed, "Dad, there's someone in my room." He bolted in there, checked my window, my entire room, and there was no one. Wednesday, I heard a voice. I lay in my bed with a nightstand on the side that wasn't against the wall. I leaned over to take a sip of water. My lamp was still on. Then I heard clear as day, "Look behind you." It was like a whisper in a man's voice. My body went still, but I forced myself to look. No one was there, but a giant centipede was crawling over my bed, which was entirely real. My dad had to kill it for me.
Oh, it was a real bug.
It was a real centipede.
Oh my gosh.
This confused me. Something had warned me because I was moments away from turning off my light. Mind you, I live in Arkansas. Centipedes of that size are not common here. I can't remember if I saw the man that night. This is so crazy. Because when she said giant centipede, I thought she meant like a giant
like 8
centipede.
feet long, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Thursday was the last night I experienced the man and the last time I ever saw him. Thank goodness, Emmy. Remember when I had my visions, I had previously been asleep and then abruptly woke up. I wrote what I saw off as a strange case of sleep hallucinations or nightmares. That night, I experienced something I never, ever could have expected. I got into bed, my parents still in the living room. My closet light was on, my lamp was off. I crawled into bed, pulled the covers over my body, then realized, oh, I need to fill my water bottle, which sat beside my bed. Remember also that I always kept my bedroom door open. The gap between the corner of my nightstand and the open door was clearly visible. The bathroom was in the same hall as my room, and its light was on and the door open, so the light poured into my room. I stood up and grabbed my bottle. Walking toward my door, I glanced to my left and froze. There he was, crouching behind my door, peeking through the space between the nightstand and the door. This time he had a face, fully defined. Are you ready for this?
No.
His skin was gray with a purplish hue. His hair was long, thick, and white. Strands of it falling over his face. His nose was bony and strongly structured, almost hooked. His face was slender, with pronounced cheekbones and a strong chin. His ears poked out from beneath his hair. I could see the pores on his skin glisten as if he were slightly damp. I watched his shoulders rise and fall with every breath. The light from the bathroom lit half of his face. His silver eyes glinted in the light. Frozen, I stood there staring at him, mortified because he smiled. Slowly at first, then it grew as I began screaming for my parents. I wanted them to see him too, so I knew I wasn't crazy. I wanted so badly for them to turn on the lights and know whether this was real, so they could see him too. As I screamed, his eyes grew wider, and his smile stretched wider and wider, terrifyingly amused by my screams. My mom and dad were in the doorway before I knew it. I could see both of my parents in my peripheral vision, and him in front of me. I made the mistake of turning my head to look at them as they turned on the light. I looked back, and he was gone. I was so frustrated with myself, I wish I hadn't taken my eyes off of him. What stuck with me is this: I remember his face. I went to school the next day and told my friends. I'm a decent artist and I could draw him if I were asked in detail. I remember his face. He never visited me again after that, and I hope he never does. I'm a Christian and I've struggled with fear and sleep hallucinations that terrify me. I want so badly to be able to lay my head down at night and feel at ease. Thank you, Emmy.
Thank you
for making me
that
not sleep well tonight.
Extremely terrifying. Wow.
What do you think?
It was scary.
There's a couple things in there that stick out to me since I grew up in a haunted house. Mm-hmm. The entity crawling on the bed, or because I felt one sit on the bed. I saw the shadow person. So when I emailed her back, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And another thing that stuck out to me was the way his eyes got wider and his smile got bigger and bigger. The more she screamed, the more fear there was.
Yeah.
And I told her that is what they run on. Like, that's their battery. Evil loves fear.
Yeah.
Because that's all they can do to you, and I think they feed off of it.
Yeah.
But thank goodness she hasn't had any experience.
Yeah.
With it.
I mean, she said she was a Christian, so just keep on praying. I mean, that's all I could say.
I told her, send that guy packing in Jesus' name. Get out of here.
That was creepy. I feel weird saying like that was a good one.
Yeah.
Because like you can obviously tell she's terrified, and I feel bad like trying to make that into, entertainment. But like that's pretty spooky. That was a pretty spooky story.
And like the detail that she's talking about, like she could see his pores and like his skin was damp. Ugh,
I don't like that.
Get out of there.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like someone who died, and is stuck in between the afterlife. It sounds like something evil.
That sounds demonic.
Yeah.
And I would be interested to see what other things she's seen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can get her to draw a picture of him.
Yeah. That would be...
If we can, we'll insert it here.
Yeah. That would be really cool. I'd love to see that.
Oh, that is all the stories that we have for now.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Anyone else who is watching, please send us your stories. We love reading them.
Yeah. I would like to do a lot more episodes where we talk about the stories that you sent in.
And if they want to send us stories, where can they do that?
Oh, if you have a story that you want us to read on air, send it to sincerelysupernatural@gmail.com and we will do just what we just did.
Yeah. And let us know if you enjoyed this kind of, episode where we read your stories.
Let us know in the comments if you liked it.
I liked it.
I did too. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Is
it.
that it for today?
Yep.
If you ever see somebody in your room, shoot them. With the...
Wait, whoa.
I mean,
let's clarify.
Yeah. With your finger guns of prayer.
Yes.
I don't condone violence.
No. And if you are using a firearm, make sure you know your target.
Yep.
What's beyond it, and you have good
Keep your
triggers.
finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire.
Yes.
And keep it pointed in a safe direction.
Yes.
Don't
shoot
people,
anyone,
please.
Anyway,
I was trying to tie it into the finger guns that we do at the end.
Right.
So,
one last time.
yeah.
Our finger guns of prayer.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And good night.